Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Well, kind of close. Not the voice of the Tigers and not Dave Woloshin, but Brett Norsworthy in for the voice of the Tigers. Dave Woloshin the rest of this week. That's today and tomorrow. And Monday and Tuesday of next week, as Dave is taking some time away between the real push for him that begins with when Tiger basketball starts during the open date for Tigers football last night. Student madness, and we'll talk about that with the athletics director of the University of Memphis, Laird Veach, coming up momentarily. That and so much more with a very, very full plate at the University of Memphis Athletics Department in this crossover time of year. It's that busy. School's underway. Football off to a great start, and basketball coming soon. We will visit with Laird Veach. We'll also talk Tiger football and the National Football League, as Dave always does on Thursday with Russell Copeland. And at about 10:40, we will visit with Dave's analyst on Tiger football, that is Jarvis Greer, forever at Action News 5, and now with the Grizzlies, with the Showboats, with the Tigers. Jarvis is the busiest guy in town in retirement. Only Jarvis works that hard in retirement. Jarvis joins us about 10:40 or so. Baseball, boy, that was quick, wasn't it? The Brooms were out in all four series, and it left Milwaukee really wanting and left a lot of fan bases like Tampa Bay really kind of just bewildered at how that happened that quickly. In the 2 out of 3, when you lose game 1, your back is against that wall in game 2 in all four series. I missed on all four. I thought we would get to game 3 in all four, and we weren't really even close in any of those. Baseball doesn't start back until Saturday. College football got going last night with Wednesday night games, and tonight we have college football, and we also have the NFL right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM tonight, as the Bears are in our nation's capital to play Washington. But we are honored. I am truly honored to have Laird Veach. So kind of him to join me. I almost think, Laird, I owe you an apology. You didn't think you were booking the show to be with Dave, and instead you get me, because I'm really glad to have you, Laird.
Well, I'm glad to have you too.
Thank you very much. And Laird, first, congratulations on the great start to the football season. I know it was disappointing in St. Louis. I know having to play in St. Louis, that was well adjudicated, quite literally, in courts of law. In courts of law, the Memphis Tigers handled themselves well there in defeat. Now we're seeing really how good Mizzou is. I don't think the football season, except for winning at Mizzou, could be off to a better start.
Yeah, we're really proud of our team and their fight. You know, it's really hard to win these days in college football, if you haven't noticed. And I think we got a team that not only has the talent, but also the leadership and the kind of grit that it takes to win tough battles and to keep pushing through. And we got a huge one coming up next Friday.
It may be the biggest game since the AAC championship game, certainly biggest regular season game, I feel like, since that great day when game day was here and it built to the crescendo on Saturday night, playing and hosting and defeating SMU. But that's next Friday night. I know we want to build to a big crowd. But, Laird, I think you are to be commended. I have said it many times without ever telling you I'm saying it or you even probably even knowing about saying it. Nobody got a tougher hand than you did walking in, first of all, to the success of the football program, but then to COVID and to IARP and to the changing world of college athletics. College sports has changed more in the last 3 years than in the previous 40. You held yourself up very well. And last year, when it got noisy around Coach Silverfield, you maintained, and last year shows what you just said about how hard it is to win in college football. It's fragile. Losses last year that could have, should have been wins, they weren't. A couple of wins this year that could have gone the other way, they've gone the right way. That's how tenuous the nature of it is. You're to be commended for kind of holding the line.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you. I appreciate it, but I mean genuinely, as hard as it's been, for for athletic directors across the country, not just me. It's even harder for coaches. I mean, what the world that they live in now, from a recruiting standpoint, managing NIL, managing transfers, trying to maintain a culture, be competitive, and do all those things. Ryan and all of our coaches, we've talked many times about how much that world has changed for them, and Ryan and the staff have really handled it remarkably well, considering all the headwinds that have been there. I mean, it is not the job that it was 4 or 5 years ago, and he has found a way to adjust and put us in this position. And you could see, I don't know if you saw the promotion that we had just announced this morning, but he's truly all in, buying 2,500 tickets himself to give away to fans, so fans can literally call up the ticket office, get 4 free tickets, starting today if they want. I mean, he's doing everything he possibly can for us to be successful and doing it the right way. And we got defending Cotton Bowl champions coming to our town and on national television, so it doesn't get much bigger than that.
On the lucky charm date of Friday the 13th, I'm not at all superstitious, Laird, but some are. But I look forward to being there, and I am going to be there that night at that game. And for Ryan Silverfield to do what he did today, to buy those tickets, to make them available for people to go to that game. It's part of the process of building to I hope a big crowd next Friday night. You mentioned Cotton Bowl champions, the regard that everybody in college sports that people have for Willie Fritz and what's being done at Tulane. It's almost the model for what Ryan Silverfield can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you put it very well. I mean, it is a huge night for us. I've learned that many of the local high school teams are not playing football because of fall break. So hopefully that's an opportunity for people to another reason for them to come out and spend the Friday night with us, and then be able to watch other college games the next day on TV. But it's also wrestling night. We're giving away jerseys. We've got a special dinner offer, so you can get a hot dog, soda, chips, cookie for $8. So I don't know if you can find a more nutritious meal for less than $10 out there. So we're trying to pull out all the stops. I guess that's what I'm trying to communicate, Kate, is we're really trying to do everything we possibly can for people to want to come out to the game, to make it easy on them, and to enjoy it while they support our Tigers.
And this has been the part of the schedule that all of us in the summertime, we got all those answers in summertime talk radio, Ryan. Everybody knows everything that's going to happen in the fall, and then amazingly, after 1 week of play, we don't know anything that's going to happen, and it gets readjusted. But back in the summer, that Mizzou, Boise State, Tulane stretch, we knew that would kind of make or break the season. So far, so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there are no moral victories, and we sort of wanted to pull out that Mizzou game, but we battled, and we did the right things. This last weekend, and that's set up. As goes this time of year, every game gets bigger with another win, and it's really not going to get any bigger than this one. So we need people to come out and show the country that we care about our Tigers here in Memphis, and we're willing to support a national level football program, and it just really doesn't get any bigger than this.
This team and this coaching staff, and I'm always reluctant to use this word, but I'm going to. They deserve this town's support. They deserve this area's support. They've gone out there with all the questions after last year, but it ended well with the bowl win over Utah State. Seasoned quarterback, big-time tailback, great receiving core, rebuilt offensive line, a competitive, scrappy defense, solid in special teams. This team is fun to watch and is deserving of support. Yeah, no question. You said it perfectly well. I fully agree with everything you said, but you're right. I mean, it's a fun team to get behind and support. I mean, they're the kind of young people you want. They battle. We have some real athletic young men that can make things happen. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be the place to be next Friday. So hoping people show up and they're out there. On the coaching front, whether it's the football coach or whatever coach it is across the department, the kind of the staying the course when it gets noisy, when one or two you don't want calling, kind of cracking on you, do call, and and they want changes, but you have to stay the course. You saw it at Kansas State with overtime, kind of planting the spring, harvesting the fall with Bill Snyder. We're seeing it now at Kentucky with Mark Stoops. I mean, they ride out a couple of 5 and 7s and 6 and 6s, and they bide their time for that next opportunity to go 10 and 3. We saw it historically with Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. I know there's not a lot of patience, but you in that corner office, you have to be patient. You can't go with the whims of talk radio.
Well, you're right. That is absolutely true. You have to really know what's going on behind the scenes and recognize that, in Ryan's case and how he's managed the program, he is doing all the right things. Right? He's making the right decisions. He made some really good decisions like this last year with his staff. He's adjusted well to the transfer portal and figured out how to manage that right for Memphis. I mean, he just operates the type of culture and program that you want, and not only from my position, but from a fan's perspective. I mean, we do things the right way, and that eventually, I believe, that pays off, and that generates results. It's challenging, and it is tough because college football is tough. I mean, it is really hard to win, but he's doing the right things, and over time, those things add up. You start to turn corners, and you get better and better and better over time. So, my old ball coach, Bill Snyder, used to his big eyes was get just a little bit better every day, and that was the attitude, that was the approach, and that's what I see. He continues to grind out. Ryan does, and the staff does, and they're getting a little better. They're figuring things out as they go, and it's starting to really produce results.
Our guest is the esteemed athletics director of the University of Memphis, Laird Veach. We're glad to have him with us on Wolo and Friends. In Dave's absence, I'm Brett Norsworthy, but so glad to be with Laird Veach. When you played and you were around and you watched Coach Bill Snyder, often players really do, I think more times for the better, they adapt to the personality of the head coach. When you saw him being so resolute, being so patient, Laird, I see a lot of that in you. Did you get a lot of that from him?
Yeah, I would like to think I learned a lot of that from him. I think of that as, partly just, background and roots, growing up in small town Kansas with farmer parents and, that type of background as well. But it also comes from, just being around college athletics over the years and having the perspective of, you're riding the ups and downs and, understanding that you can't make emotional, reactive decisions. You got to be really calculated and thoughtful and be willing to take some arrows. That's part of the role. It's part of the job. So, our job as administrators is to support coaches, and they really are the ones that are on the ground level to support student athletes and build programs and do the kind of things that our coaches are doing here. So, we're in the background trying to help, and they're on the front lines, and we're here to support them doing what they're doing.
Next Friday night, October 13th, the Memphis Tigers against the Tulane Green Wave, and as you said, the champions of the Cotton Bowl beat USC during that game. We were in here on January 2nd during the end of that game, and I said that day, in the history of big-time bowl wins, maybe not a bigger budget disparity of SC football to Tulane football, but the budgets don't play on the field, do they? Do they, Laird?
No, they don't. They don't. There's still only so many that can line up on each side and make plays. So that's one of the great things about sports. Is it in many ways it's an equalizer, and it makes it fun.
Well, you say they can line up. Last week, Florida tried the 13-man defense on the goal line against Kentucky and still couldn't stop them. They tried those 7-6 front.
Yeah, exactly.
That was something to see. But next Friday night against Tulane, you got a lot of good ticket deals. It will be a lot of fun. The forecast for now, for what it's worth, looks like it's going to be a great night for football on a Friday night. I know you don't like doing that on Friday night, but the networks make that call, and you will have to do it. You had a great preseason ticket deal that I'm sure those $60 ticket buyers are now crowing to their friends, hey, I'm going to the Tulane game for $12.
I know, isn't that fun? I was so proud of our staff that
really
coming up with that concept. And one of the things I love about being in Memphis is we're a place where we can get creative. We can do fun things like that. And, we really encourage our staff to be innovative and to, push things out there like that. And they came up with it, and it's been a lot of fun. Been obviously fun for those fans that rolled those dice, and have made that happen. And it's fun to see it continue to progress. And shoot, we're hoping they get, all 6 games. So.
Laird, I have so many people often ask me, hey Brett, I can't write that big check to the athletics department. I don't know that I want a full season ticket package, but what can I do? And I always tell them, buy a ticket to a game and start with next Friday night would be the time to do it, wouldn't it be?
Absolutely. No question. You said it well again, and we would very much appreciate that. That is, absolutely the number one thing I ask people when they ask how they can help. The first thing is come out, support our young people in their competitive environments, doing what they're doing, and have fun doing it. I mean, it is a fun place to be. It's going to be a beautiful night, and it's great entertainment. You come out and really watch young people battle and be with a lot of other people in the process and have fun in that environment. I also want to really quick, while I got you, just thank our students and their attendance. We've seen some of the best attendance in the student section as we've had in several years, and our staff's really worked hard on that. I think that also showed last night with Student Madness. We're doing things to really try to engage them and bring them out. That's kind of the heart and soul of our fan base is our student body, and we need them to be there. And I know next week is Student Bonanza. We're going to have all kinds of giveaways and doing other things for them as well. But that's been fun to see, and I just wanted to take a minute to recognize that.
And it looked great last night for men's basketball and women's basketball last night with the rollout of Student Madness and Coach Hardaway with the team that we feel like he's going to have this year, and even with how heartbreaking last year ended to be AAC conference champions, to beat mighty Houston, to have that great last regular season game against them. It didn't go the way that we wanted it, but it was still thrilling stuff. We know what Coach Hardaway and that team can do. On the ticket front, how many people have bought tickets for the early season Bahamas trip? How many Tiger fans you think will go?
I don't know the number to that yet. I know that we've been working on it. I haven't heard the full number. I think there are several that are going, not necessarily with us, that are going directly on their own. So I can't say. I do think it's going to be an awesome trip. And we expect a healthy contingent of Tiger fans there, but I haven't heard a number to be able to share.
And the potential of that bracket, a lot of Thanksgiving lunch mid-afternoon plans could be greatly altered with the Razorbacks and the Tigers playing down there on Thanksgiving afternoon. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
It would be a lot of fun. You bet. We're looking forward to a great trip.
And I know through the years, University of Memphis has tried very hard to get back into a game with Arkansas, and Eric Musselman is pretty adamant in his stance of he's not going to play that kind of home and home. If he plays a game like that, it would be at one of those either neutrals or in one of those holiday tournaments. Laird Veets with us, talking all things Tigers athletics. From fundraising to conference realignment to the compliance staff, right now, you really are juggling flaming chainsaws every day. I feel sorry, Laird, for the people in compliance because I don't know how they keep up with all these moving parts.
Yeah, it is more complex than it used to be. That's for sure. But we got a really good team, and I think everybody in our all administrators in college athletics have just sort of had to get used to managing change and being flexible with how we think about things. But it's a constant process, and the key for us is to not only stay up with it, but then understand how do we use it to our advantage? How do we position ourselves to be competitive? And that's it. It is while challenging and daunting at times, it's also it's kind of fun to be able to really think that through and work with a team that cares and is really trying to make things happen for our coaches and players.
What is the biggest challenge for the department? Is it fundraising? Is it conference realignment, or is it just the day in, day out care of your athletes?
I hate to say it, but finances are probably in many respects the number one challenge because we compete above our weight class.
Sure.
Without having those conference television revenues. I heard a statistic, and I can't verify this, but I've heard it several times that when prior to, say 10, 12 years ago, prior to the real jump in television revenues for conferences, that Memphis and Ole Miss had almost the exact same budget, overall budget. And now, they're I'm sure double what ours is. So that's it. That kind of competition, sort of right in your background, can make it hard, right? And so those kind of things, trying to balance, not only what we need to continue to do to invest in our facilities and provide the kind of resources we need for to pay great coaches and to recruit and do all those things, but now with the NIL space, and it is a constant battle for dollars, and we really ask a lot of our donors, our people, and we need them now more than ever. So it is certainly the biggest challenge, because you want to be able to provide all those resources for coaches and players to be successful.
Last thing for Laird Veach, the athletics director at the University of Memphis, on the whole stadium funding issue, be it Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium or FedEx Forum. The Grizzlies and the Tigers have had a great relationship through the years. And at the time that the Grizzlies came here, the Tigers were the power between the two and really helped with getting the Grizzlies here. When this all gets settled down, we'll look back, and the more acrimonious parts won't be as raw then, will it?
Yeah. Well, I've said this before, and I mean it. I really, and I know our president and others do not in any way look at this as a Tigers versus Grizzlies thing. I mean, it hasn't been. We have had a relationship. A great relationship. We continue to. We're partners in many ways. And this really shouldn't be an either or thing. It should be an and we need to find a way, if we want to have both, professional sports and big time, high level college sports in this city, we got to find a way to support them at those competitive levels, and the investments that we're talking about for these venues. That's part of how the game is played.
And we can do both.
We can do both, and we need to do both. So that needs to be the focus, and we really want to push this thing forward and make it happen, because one, financially it is the right thing to do, right? I mean, it costs less. It allows, the further along you go, it's going to cost more, and there's another year of, if you wait, it's another year of waiting before you can sell those cool new suites and club seats and all that can generate more revenues for our programs. There's just a lot of reasons why it's important we move forward, but ultimately we need to make all this happen for both entities, and ultimately, because that's what's best for the city, and what helps us all from not only an economic standpoint but a brand standpoint, et cetera. So it's an investment with real big picture long-term returns that needs to happen for both venues.
Laird, I say about this area, we're not big enough to fight among each other. Let's all pull together.
Amen. We're with you.
Laird Veach, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the great job you're doing, and can't wait to see you on the Friday night of the Tulane game. Thank you. Have a great rest of the week.
You bet. You too. Go Tigers, go.
You got it. Laird Veach, the athletics director at the University of Memphis. We're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale. It's right now. It's back and bigger than ever. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers, up to 30% off in stock spas and swim spas. Free upgrades on all in-stock spas, 24 months, same as cash. It's available at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. More Tiger on the Field Talk with Russell Copeland, and NFL Talk with him coming up next. You're listening to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard for University of Memphis football. Let us help you use your home's value for all those projects or vacations you've been putting off. Now you can borrow up to 100% loan to value. No closing costs for loans $50,000 or less. Online banking accessible. Interest-only payments for the first 10 years. You can apply at southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Dave's out, Brett's in, and up next, Russell Copeland to talk Tiger football. We just visited with Athletics Director of the University of Memphis, Laird Feach. That'll be up at the website if you'd like to go back and listen to that as well. But we visit with Russell Copeland now about Tigers football and about the NFL. Russell played for the University of Memphis and played in the NFL, and one of the teams in the NFL he played for, that's where I'm going to start. Russell, let's start with the Buffalo Bills. Who needed it more? And they kind of go hand in hand. The team writ large or Josh Allen last Sunday to do what they did to the Dolphins?
Well, without a question, it was the Buffalo Bills, especially when you look at how the Bills started off going against the Jets opening night. Everything that happened with Aaron Rodgers and not being able to come out with that victory. Mm-hmm. They could not afford to be 0-2 in that division. But since that loss with the Jets, Josh Allen did not perform very well. He's been hot. I think he is definitely early on an MVP candidate, along with Tua Tagovailoa. But it was the Buffalo Bills. They needed that game. They got it. They're right back where they need to be. They're playing good on both sides of the football.
And Stephon Diggs, he's having that kind of year. 4 touchdowns for the year, almost 400 yards. He wants to be the big-time receiver. I think he is.
Well, definitely. He's definitely a top 5 wide receiver. I just think when you look at Josh Allen being the quarterback, I think he had to let the dust settle. He had to understand that he's the leader of the football team. He could not allow Diggs, nor the head coach or anyone else to try to force feed Diggs. Diggs will be open. There'll be opportunities to hit big plays, but I think early on, especially against the Jets, he was trying to force some things. He's now settled down. He's reading the coverages. But Diggs is a big-time playmaker. He'll get his catches, and just like all receivers want to get involved. But Josh Allen is running the ship. He's taking control of this offense.
Russell, everything ends. For good or for bad, it comes to an end and a new chapter starts. We're at that with New England. The Tom Brady years have come and gone. When do the Bill Belichick years go?
Well, that's an interesting question. Where is he with with the owner, with Kraft. I mean, he's done so much. And it's really hard to let a legend, to let someone who's arguably probably the best coach. But right now we're seeing something that we haven't seen in a very long time, and that is this organization, this coaching staff struggling. You draft the first-round quarterback to rebuild. He has not panned out the way that you wanted your quarterback to be. And honestly, I think it'll be a long look after this season if this era for Bill Belichick is going to be over. You know, Mac Jones, I think he's definitely a really good quarterback. But you look at last year, for me, I think he lost. He regressed a year because you didn't have an offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have an offensive coordinator. You had Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator. He specialized in defense. That was a big year for him. Now he's trying to get used to, get back accommodated to a real offensive coordinator and O'Brien. And he's struggling a little bit. His confidence is not there. And if you do not have a quarterback, and you've got a young quarterback, and he doesn't have the confidence, your offense is going to struggle. But right now, it's not the same type of team that we're used to. And I think Kraft will take a long look after this year. This easily could be Bill Belichick's last year. And that's something that we didn't think that we would be hearing. But right now, they're in tough situations in New England.
It really could be something in the same season. It would be weeks apart. But Coach Nick Saban say goodbye to college football coaching and Bill Belichick to the NFL. We're talking college football and the NFL with Russell Copeland. No better person to do it with. He played for the University of Memphis and played in the National Football League. Two teams remain undefeated in the NFL, the Eagles, who made it all the way to the Super Bowl last year, and the 49ers, whom the Eagles defeated in the NFC Championship game on an injury-marred day for the 49ers in that game. But this week it's San Francisco at home against Dallas. I know they don't play against each other, but we pit it as quarterback versus quarterback. Dak can't lose to Brock Purdy, can he?
Well, I tell you what, I can't say enough about Brock Purdy. You look at, how he took over last year, how he's played. He's the quarterback that fits that system. He understands the offense. You understand the personnel groupings, where to go with the football. He gets the football out of his hands. And when you look at Shanahan, this is the West Coast offense. And I think Brock Purdy plays the system better than Dak Prescott when you look at the quarterback position. And I think last year in that playoff game, that was the difference. Mm-hmm. The difference was the quarterback play. Brock Purdy did not turn the football over. Dak Prescott had two big turnovers. And it's going to come down to it this game. I think both defenses are really good. The Dallas Cowboys, they've got the best scoring defense in the National Football League. I think it's like 10.5. But those numbers can be inflated a little bit because you played the Jets and the Giants, but they still have a really good defense as far as pass rush. I think their weakness is up the middle, running the football. And, man, San Francisco 49ers, they can run the football. Christian McCaffrey was a big, huge addition. He was the piece that was missing. Give me the San Francisco 49ers over the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to San Francisco. San Francisco has won 7 straight games dating back to 2022, scoring 30-plus points. I think it'll be a tough game. It'll come down to those turnovers and also the red area. The Cowboys are struggling in that red area.
Yeah, I love the 49ers line of scrimmage, and I think it's a decided coaching advantage, Shanahan versus McCarthy.
Well, McCarthy now has taken over. He's taken over the helms. He's the head guy. He's calling the plays. And I think Dak Prescott has adjusted. He's getting the football out of his hands. It's the West Coast offense. You got to, get the football into your playmakers' hands. But when you look at Kyle Shanahan and Mike McCarthy, I like Kyle Shanahan. And something else, you look at the defenses. Both of those defenses are really good. But Kyle Shanahan does a tremendous job with personnel groupings, meaning that all of his players are interchangeable. So he gets you in the mismatch. Do you want to go base? Do you want to go nickel? Do you want to go dime? How do you want to match up with all those weapons with Deebo Samuels, Christian McCaffrey, lining them outside? That'll cause some issues for the Cowboys. And if they can't get to Brock Purdy, it could be a long night. But I like the Niners. I think it'll be one of the best games early on this year.
It really will be. And those no love lost between those two organizations. The Baker Mayfield story, I know just 4 games, but Russell, I wrote him off. I thought it was he was done to the ash heap of failed Heisman winning quarterbacks in the NFL. Not so fast. And I think it also should be a guide for Kyler Murray and Justin Fields. Okay, so first stop doesn't work out. Don't give up. You can resurrect yourself somewhere.
Well, it is good to see Baker Mayfield playing well, leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers to 3-1. I'm not sold on Baker Mayfield yet. It's still early. I will say it's good.
Yeah, I don't want to sign a mortgage with him. I'm still renting.
Yeah. But it's good, and especially what you said. You talk about Kyler Murray and you talk about Justin Fields. And look, the quarterback position is the hardest position to get adjusted to. It's the hardest position to be able to evaluate coming out of college because the game is different. It's faster. I think Kyler Murray was out to a tremendous start. Unfortunately for him, he has a knee injury. Now you look at Justin Fields. I think a total different situation with Justin Fields. I don't think he's had the help around him. I think now the pieces are being put together around him. Unfortunately, the offensive line is hurt, but he's coming off one of his best games as a passer. He had over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. They lose the game. But to make your point, you can go somewhere else and be able to fit into a system to make your point. And those young quarterbacks, they have to be able to look at that because unfortunately, when you pick a quarterback first, if you do not put the pieces around him and you do not allow him to be the quarterback that you evaluated coming out of college, you put a total different system in, your franchise is behind 4 to 5 years. Look at the Jets. The Jets have drafted 2 quarterbacks in the top 5. And we see what's going on with New York. But, yes, to make your point, you can go somewhere else and be successful.
You sure can. Russell Copeland, the Memphis Tigers, a big one next Friday night against Tulane. It really is kind of a de facto early in-season AAC championship game.
Well, it definitely is. And what I love about the Tigers is that they've been able to progress. They've been able to sustain, and they've elevated. And I think it started when you look at Missouri. I think Missouri was a test on both sides of the ball. As far as the physicality, I think they matched that. I think they showed that they could play with an SEC team. And you look at last week, Boise State. I mean, look, Boise State has been that guy. Boise State has been that team in the group of 5. That was a signature win for them on all different levels. Being down 17-0, needing the plays to come back before that half to score those touchdowns, and then special teams, getting the blocked field goal. So, yes, this is a huge matchup, and it's so big for this Tiger program to come off a win instead of going into the bye week with 2 hard losses. I'm looking forward to this matchup. It came at a good time for the bye. Players get a chance to rest up. And this team is playing with a lot of confidence. They're optimistic. They're focused. And they still have not played, when I say a clean game, the slow starts, making some mistakes.
Best game's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, the best game. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm looking forward to it, man. And Tulane has not won here in a really long time. The fans, come out on Friday night. I think they saw what type of football team this Tiger team can be against Boise State. Looking forward to that. It's early on, but I think the Tigers will play them tooth and nail. And I think the Tigers will come up with a really big victory against Tulane.
Russell, fun visit. Thank you for joining me today. Dave will be back next week, but I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Russell Copeland, former Tiger great, now part of the broadcast team and also played in the National Football League, mostly with the Buffalo Bills. When we come back, we will visit with Jarvis Greer on everything local. The Grizzlies, they had media day. Grizzlies 3 weeks from last night, opening night, also the Tigers. We visit with Jarvis next. You're listening to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing. When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Oh, come on, it's funny.
Can't do it.
Trick or treat, here's some meat.
Seriously, the Central Barbecue spot for October has been about Halloween for like 5 straight years.
Look, you've done the ladling Central Barbecue beans into their bag thing.
Yeah, I got in trouble both times. They didn't like the phrase ladling beans into their bag.
Well, what else happens in October? Hey, I tell you what, do they do any pumpkin spice stuff?
God, no.
That's good. I'm tapped for anything else for October. How about just a straight spot about how great the food is at Central Barbecue?
What, like Central Barbecue has the best slow-smoked ribs in Memphis?
Yeah, something like that.
Too boring.
It doesn't matter, we're out of time anyway.
Cooling or heating system on the fritz? Dripping faucet? Call the pros at Conway Services today and we'll waive the service call fee with any HVAC or plumbing repair. Expert technicians available 7 days a week. Call 384-3511 to schedule your appointment. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19688.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Memphis attorneys. 5100 Poplar Avenue, Suite 2932, Memphis, Tennessee, 38137.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring and continue to get compliments on it because it looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, but he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world, and that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew that they were the best.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant setting. Got the value price Genesis is known for. And now they both tell everyone they meet about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
It's always been you, and I've always been your wife.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Thank you very much, Zach Boyd, doing the great job as always producing. On Wolo and Friends, I'm Brett Norsworthy. Dave will be back next Wednesday, and a real treat now for me to visit with the busiest man in town in retirement. Nobody works harder than Jarvis Greer, whether it's in retirement or not in retirement. Good morning, Jarvis. How are you?
What's going on, Stats? You holding down the fort there, sounding really good.
Thank you, Jarvis. I appreciate it. And I know you guys, I said on Monday last weekend, the Memphis Tigers football team and the Ole Miss football team tried to kill its fans and its broadcasters last weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, really. I mean, both of them going down crazy games to the last second. That was a raucous scene down in Oxford. I know you were pulling your hairs out. How many
all three
you
of
got
them
left?
all three of them, Jarvis. We didn't have to go to the hair, but that's okay.
Well, that's good. You just bit down the fingernails to the nubbin, I'm sure.
I did, and a wild win for the Memphis Tigers. We visited
it was crazy at the Sim. Yeah, crazy. Big comeback.
We visited with Laird. We visited with Russell. But, Jarvis, I really like where this Tiger football team, where it is. It's exactly preseason where I thought it was on the way to 9-3, and I just didn't have the stones to pick 10-2. Brian Moss did, and did on a lot of different forums at his site, and I applaud that. I just didn't have the gumption to do it. 10-2's out there for sure to be had, and maybe better.
Well, I said 10-2 myself, and
Way
I
to go, Jarvis.
I would have said that had Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF still been in the league, because this is a good team. They had bad luck last year. I mean, you know how the football gods turn. Maybe they'll turn a little bit, because they four one score games last year that they lost them all. They're going down to the last end of the ball game, and something happened here or there where they just didn't win. Well, now it looks like they've got the players now. You got in every key position that you need. You have a quarterback. You've got a running back now, and looks like now you've got a wideout that can consistently catch football.
And
Rock Taylor.
And O-line's improved.
And the O-line is it's still got a ways to go, but it's getting there. And like I said, it's got a running back that can find the creases to run through. So, and defensively, I think they're better this year. I mean, they're still nationally ranked in several categories, and playing some pretty good offenses here of late. So I think that the season bodes well for Memphis. Hopefully, Tigers can keep it going. And boy, your Rebels, they really have, with that offense. I mean, that reminds me of kind of what it was like around here with Mike Norvell. They got a lot of weapons on offense, and they use them, and they score a lot of points, and they're always in the game because they can always score. That's
a good comparison. Mike Norvell and Lane very much do approach the game in kind of the same manner. You got to kind of just flood the zone and a little bit hang on for dear life on defense. But that's the modern game now. Man, Jarvis, you're not going to win anything 10-7 out there now. No, that's not happening. And even Memphis, with its struggles somewhat offensively, will not been able to run the ball very well. They're starting to run the ball now, and you're seeing the results. The scoring's up. And they're giving their defense a little bit of a rest. It's
they
amazing
go back out there.
the trickle down effect from a consistent running game. It sets up the pass. Then
they teach that from grade school on through high school, college. You've got to be able to run the football. You can't run the football unless you're Patrick Mahomes and got 50,000 guys that can run 10 flat hundreds.
Okay,
9,
there's
800.
always an exception to everything with Patrick Mahomes, isn't it?
Yeah, but not everybody's got that, right?
But our entire football lives, we've heard about it, and it holds true. It really does. And now with the way the game's played, the no huddle, it's not always hurry up, but it's always no huddle. If you have that quick 3 and out, you're killing your big guys on the defensive side. They got to sit down and get a drink of water and get their breath back.
Yeah, they got to get that oxygen. They got to graze a little bit. You know what I mean? Big hogs need some time to graze. They got to go out in the pasture and sit a minute. You know what I mean? Before they go back out there and bring the heavy lumber. And that, the game has changed, but the game is still the same.
All right, last week at 17-0, and the block field goal really changed it. It was really feeling like, this could be the tipping point. If they got up one more score, then here comes the Tigers.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where the game was like going nowhere. It's like they were moving the football, but they weren't getting anything out of it. And Boise State was. Boise State, that back Gianti, he's really good.
He is.
And I think he's still
quarterback steady.
Yeah, and they got 2 of them, it looks like. They say you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one, but they both kind of complement each other.
You almost have to have 2 now. Jarvis, that old saw of 2 don't have one, that's when we were playing 10 regular season games. Now we're playing a pro schedule.
Yeah, pretty much. If you look at it, if you win your league and then you win your then you go to your conference championship and then you play in a bowl game, I mean, heck, that's more games than what they were playing in the old NFL.
That's a long,
back when we were young.
long time ago. That's a long season. Jarvis, let's talk about the Grizzlies media day on Monday. Everybody excited. We've kind of everything
another one of my pursuits in retirement.
I know it. You're staying busy, but everything is settled down with Ja. We know when the Grizzlies are going to get him back. That 25 games without him. What would be the record you would take right now and not play a second? Would you take 13 and 12?
Well, a lot of people are saying 14 and 11.
Okay.
And I see that as a possibility. It was 13 and 12 I'm not going to cry about.
Me either. Or one under 500, I'm not.
And if you look at it, the past couple of years, the Grizzlies have started out kind of, fair to mediocre, kind of pretty good here, not so good there, and been somewhere around 500, and then boom, all of a sudden they take off. And I see this season being pretty much like the same. They have played well without Ja before. The only thing is this time you don't have Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark, to rely on. Brandon Clark, of course, is out with that torn Achilles, and we may not see him again this year. They said he had a little bit of a setback in his rehab, but it's nothing too much that wasn't expected. And, if he comes back at the end of the year, how effective would he be anyway? But, Tyus Jones was a definite steadying factor. But now I think they did a pretty good job replacing him, getting a Marcus Smart in there who knows how to play, averaged 7 assists a game before, and who can move the ball around, is a judicious shooter, and is a tenacious defender. So, I think they've done well with that. And, you're going to have Luke Kennard for a whole season. And health is the whole thing with the NBA. Who is the healthiest at the end of the year? And I think now the Grizzlies have gotten to the point where, they finished second in the West 2 years in a row, and it may not be that you have to finish second in the West, but you have to be ready to go when the postseason comes.
Out there in the West, the Lakers and the Nuggets are really going at it strong before opening night. Last I checked, the Nuggets swept the Lakers last spring, didn't they? And I don't think the Lakers are taking no for an answer. They don't like being the team for ring and banner ceremony night. I hate too bad. Lakers, the Nuggets are the champs.
Yeah, the Nuggets are the champs, and they were they had missed the season because Jamal Murray was hurt last year, or the season before this past one. I think one of their other players that's really good off the bench was hurt or didn't play very much. But they were healthy last year, and it showed. It's just like, remember that year that the Grizzlies lost Mike Conley with the broken face?
Yes.
And the Golden State Warriors that year were healthy in the postseason, through the postseason, and they ended up winning it. It's going to be who's healthy.
One of the worst injuries I've ever seen. When I saw him the first time, I'm not kidding you, it looked like it hurt to touch his shoulder.
Oh, really.
Literally a broken face. Jarvis, I've never asked you this, and I've always wanted to. You have a very compelling story about why you wanted to be a Memphis Tiger, and it was largely because of the voice of the Tigers, Jack Eaton, who's going in the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. But when you were growing up, who was your favorite Tigers football player? I've never asked you that.
Stan Davis. Stan Davis was one of the first black players at the University of Memphis. He was a wide receiver, a speedster. He was also on the track team.
I thought you might say Gerald Tinker. I really did. Because
Tinker was also on Tiger Track Star,
right.
But he did not have the football career that
no,
they had to teach Tinker how to play football.
Yeah.
Stan Davis already knew.
I remember going to games and watching Gerald Tinker just in warm-ups, and I'm going, my goodness.
You talk about blazing speed.
Man among boys. I mean, he could run like Bob Hayes.
Yeah. Oh, that's Bullet Bob Hayes. Gerald Tinker was awesome. I think that track team he was on was NCAA champion that year.
And then he went to Kent State, and he was teammates there with Lambert and Saban.
That's amazing. Well, he got with a good crew. But,
I think I've told you my favorite Tiger from that era, and I texted this to Larry Veach that I've been a Tiger fan since I fell in love with Skeeter Gowan.
Paul Skeeter Gowan. He went to my old grade school and high school. Yeah, he went to St. Louis School and CBHS. And as a matter of fact, when I was in the 8th grade, Skeeter came and talked to us one time, and he unfortunately he passed away early, but he had several kids, and they all went to St. Louis, and he was something to watch. He was only about 5'8", but his thighs were about as big around as your body,
and could really run. And it was easy for me with basketball. It was Larry Finch.
Oh, of course, and I actually knew Larry when he was in high school, and then going on to Memphis, he and Ronnie together. Ronnie Robinson actually came and worked at Channel 5 for a little bit after college.
The big cat, Ronnie Robinson.
Yeah, the big cat. Yeah, he worked in studio there for a little bit before he said, "Look, they ain't paying me enough."
he got out of there.
To get on up.
Jarvis, I've got to get out of here. Thank you for your time today. Love hearing your voice and love seeing you around town. And I know Dave appreciates you being with him every week. Thank you, Jarvis. I love listening to you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. You too. Have a great day. Have a great call.
You got it. Jarvis Greer with everybody. I almost said Action News 5. It's just easy to do. Retired from Action News 5, but with the Grizzlies, with the Tigers Broadcast Network, also with the Showboats, and just really, really fun guy and good guy to visit with. Well, I talked about the Lakers and the Nuggets and their squabble. I'm looking forward to that sorting itself out this year. Hey, Lakers, they whipped y'all last year. You don't get to do the talking. The champs get to do the talking. And I don't think the Lakers like being in this position. And since LeBron's been there and Anthony Davis has been there, it's been one title in the bubble. And I don't know how much they like it. It has gotten ugly between those two teams. In the baseball, none today. None tonight. It's all over until Saturday as we get to the LDS, as we get to the best 3 out of 5. It was all sweeps, and shockingly, I think that it all ended in such quick style, and it was really easy for those teams. The Rangers move on, the Twins move on, the Diamondbacks move on, and the Phillies move on. Probably the two most heartbroken teams. The Brewers, they were at home, and Tampa Bay, and the crowds at Tampa Bay just slightly better yesterday. The first day, the first number was 19. Yesterday, they moved it to 20. I think that was probably intentional. It looked like a few more people there, but by no means was it a robust crowd. Tomorrow, we will visit with Glenn Rogers on high school football, and we'll also visit with Andy Schiffman, who is Brandon Clark's agent. We'll talk the NBA with Andy Schiffman, and I will visit, and we'll try to come up with Dave's Friday Pick 6. Bryant and I will do that. If Zach will help us out a little bit and get us some coordinates on that. I know they do that on Friday. We'll try to do all that tomorrow. But today I want to thank very much Laird Veach, the athletics director at the University of Memphis. I want to thank Russell Copeland, and want to thank Jarvis Greer for being with me today. I'll be back with you at 3 o'clock with Bryant Dacus for Sports Time. Until then, I'm Brett Norsworthy. Everybody have a safe day, and thank you for listening to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5.